Hi, I'm Louise Fletcher and I help artists to find their own unique way of making art. At the moment, I'm working on generating some ideas for a new series that's in progress, and I'm working on a series of paper studies that you can see behind me, and I'm also preparing a class for my online membership group Art Tribe, where I teach a monthly class about some aspect of painting, and that class is this month going to be about visual unity. How do we create visual unity in our work? How do we make everything cohesive and fit together? And in the process of doing that class and in the process of working out ideas for that class, I'm sitting down and just making some small studies. And at the moment, I'm working with the idea of repeating elements. And I thought I would just bring you along and let you see what I'm doing, and we can chat about it as I work. So let's go over to my painting table and we'll get started. I've started already. I'm just going to finish this one. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a cohesive series of studies by setting myself some repeating elements, some things that are going to happen in each one. Let me explain to you what I mean. I'll show you the first one I did. So here's one. Here's the second. The repeating elements in each piece are line, which might be pencil drawing, it might be oil pastel, it could be writing. On this one, it was some writing, which is mostly covered up. It was some drawing, then it was some line with a brush. But there's always going to be line. There's always going to be what I'm calling organic pattern, which is a pattern of some kind, maybe a stencil, maybe handmade, but not one that isn't structured and pretty and beautiful, one that's messed up and grungy. And so if I use a stencil, and I'll show you, I grunge it up. And then dry brush marks or rough, loose brush marks might be a better way to describe it. Those are my elements. Organic pattern, dry brush marks, line. And so that one and this one share that characteristic. I'm also using the same colors for each, or this limited palette I'm mixing up from each. So on this one, if I want to, I could bring in some of this magenta into some of my patterns. That might be quite nice. And I'm being really playful and not trying to make anything good, just having some fun and exploring what's possible. Just really having fun. So let's, and then when I'm done, I'm going to make a few, and then I'll just show you how they have visual unity because I'm doing something similar on each one, if not the same things. So on this one, I'm going to have some writing. So with a thick, like charcoal-y thing. I'm going to smudge some of it because it's going to smudge anyway, and I kind of like smudginess. So it's all about letting the elements do what they want to do. I'm going to do some frantic. What I've written on there is to someone that I don't feel that great about. I've got some beefs with. So that is the vibe of this piece. I'm going to mix up some magenta and cad yellow. Are going to make a lovely rich kind of cadmium orange type colour. So I'm going to, now remember, free loose brush mark. I think I'm going to do and dry brush so it looks like I'm running it. So I'm making a big cross across there in the orange. And I like that orange so much that I'm going to get a more yellowy version of it and put some more on. So yeah, that's good. And what now? So I've got my line. I've got my dry brush mark. I haven't got my repeating pattern. Now, I am very fond of this stencil. Don't know why. So I'm going to use this stencil, but I'm going to use a very pale version of that orange for this. So a much more knocked back version. And if I'm going to use a stencil, but I want rough pattern, I need not to apply it neatly, right? I need to just be rough with it and miss some of it out. Otherwise, it won't look organic. I need it to look a bit grungy. And if I want it to look even more grungy than that, I can come back in and I can put some white on top of it, do the pattern, put the stencil in the exact same place and push some white down in a few places. And that is going to knock some of it back, do you see? It's a little bit like the effect you get when you sand paint off, you're taking some of it away. Now, I don't want the pattern to be quite that strong, so I'm going to come back in, mix up some more strong orange and cover some of that up again with my more loose brush marks. But I like the fact that it's there. And then I did say some organic pattern, and for that I've been using my fingers. And you could set any parameters you want, and this could be realistic or abstract. It's whatever you feel like doing and whatever type of artwork you like making. You could do portraits where everyone's wearing the same hat or sitting in the same chair. Or you could do portraits where everything's done with a pencil and a dry brush. I mean, you can set your own parameters and limitations, but by doing so, by giving yourself some consistent elements, you will end up with some consistent paintings, even if you don't try to make anything else consistent. So I'm going to do one more and then we'll look at them and you'll see what I mean. And then I'm going to make them all consistent across the four with one colour, which is going to bring them together even more. So first I'm going to do some really random drawing, this time with a pencil. Let's try something else as well. We could have magenta oil pastel. And then we could have, gosh, I just can't tell you how much fun I have doing this. Now, in the class I'm making for Art Tribe, I'm going to show all the ways that you can do this, and then I'm going to take some actual real artworks by geniuses, not me, and show how they create visual unity. But for now, this is a start for you. So I'm going to put my rough brush mark, and that's a bit of a sickly pink. So what I'm going to do is bring some orange into it. Some of the orange I mixed up because I prefer a more orangey pink. So I'm happier with that rather than Barbie pink. And I could rough that up even more by putting some white into it, like that. And now I've covered up most of my line, but some of it's showing. And then organic pattern wise, what I haven't done yet is drawn pattern with this. So I'm going to make some grey circles. And I love drawing with a brush because you cannot be precise. Well, I cannot. I'm sure somebody else with more talent than me can be. So I'm going to try scratching some in with a pencil, because that paint's still very wet, so I like that. And then just cover some of it up with my finger. I think this is probably my least favourite of all of them so far. So that, what I have missing from that is some words. So that's good. Cover some of it up again. God, this one is a real mess of squiggles. I told you I was fed up. I'm not really fed up, but I was going back to a time when I was fed up. And put some. I'm getting some more of that fed upness in there. Okay. So now I'm going to look at the four that I've got. And then I'm going to show you how we can bring them all together even more. So we have this one and this one. And this one. And this one. I hope you can see them all. Now, they're all different, And let's just imagine these were works of art, not just, you know, quick studies and messes that I made on a piece of paper. Let's imagine these were actual works of art. If you went into a gallery and saw these four together, you would have no problem accepting they were made by the same person. They have a cohesiveness together and a visual unity because I use the same limitations. If I add another limit to them all, which is they all must contain one of these colours in some way or another, they all must, we pick a colour and then I say, right, they all must contain that colour. That is going to bring even more visual unity to the whole series. So which colour should it be? Well, the easiest one will be this colour, because this will be hard to paint on top of wet because it's so smushed up. So that colour, that peachy, orangey pink, if I bring that into each of these, and it's almost there, but it's not quite, then they will look even more cohesive. So let me show you. I'll get my paints back. So what will I do on this one? I think I will make, ooh, that's very wet, so I can't paint on there. I could make my patterns be in this colour. So we go here. Unfortunately, a little bit, the colours all mushed together because all the paint's wet, but for the sake of demo purposes, let's just go with it. So we're going to put some more of that on, some more orange. And so we've got it there, and then I'll put it on some dots up here. This is getting a bit busy now, but for the sake of the demo, put some dots of it up here, or maybe a smush of it up there. So now that colour is on this painting. Now that colour is also going to go, I think I'll do the same here, but just on this bit. So we've got it on there, and then we're going to have it going over here as well. And then on this one, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to make this a big centerpiece because I didn't like that anyway. So now that has become more about that colour than about the green, and then I can mix up some of the green, bring that back in as an organic shape, because this was the one with the crosses, so I'm going to do crosses, and maybe we'll do noughts and crosses. And I'm also going to make the orange part of all of these, I've decided, because I love me some orange. So I mix up some more orange because I got away from my orange. I'm like flame orange. And I'm just gonna put some orange on that one. And go back to these others before I finish the last one. Where am I gonna put orange? Just there. And a little bit here. This one already has orange, so we don't need to put orange on that one. This one already has the pink, so on this one I just need to add the orange, and I'm writing on with the orange, which is pulling some other colours around, but that's fine. So they now all feature orange and they all feature that pink. And if we bring them back together now, I hope you can see that they've become even more visually cohesive, even more consistent. So now they're added to the wall and they look fine. They look part of everything that's happened. You probably wouldn't be able to spot which ones they were if you hadn't seen me pinning them up, because everything here starts with the same idea. I think where we get into confusing work is when we have no guiding principles or no consistent elements to what we're doing. And then the world is our oyster, right? And we can do anything. And the problem with doing anything, being able to do anything, is it's just too much. So we need to put some restrictions on ourselves in order to create work that looks like it belongs together. And this applies just as much, as I said, to serious paintings that take maybe months to complete as it does to quick studies that take a few minutes. But doing this is definitely a lot of fun. And if you want to learn how to have fun with your artwork, this year's annual free course that I teach every year is bigger, better, longer than ever. And I'm including a lot more tips and techniques than I ever have before. I feel like the world's a difficult place at the moment, and lots of us need a big art hug, a big dose of positivity. And that's what my team and myself are already prepping to prepare to give you right at the end of August going into September. So do be sure to sign up for that. The link is below this video or with this video, wherever you're watching, except if you're on Instagram, it's in my bio. See you next time.